The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department is in charge of this investigation. They say this may be part of a planned abduction involving forged supervision documents. Firefighters say they desperately tried to save this home. It's become unrecognizable. Behind me looks like this was the garage area, and as we step closer to where the entrance of the home was, let's get a little closer and show you this space. You can see I can barely fit inside. Border Patrol agents tell me that this is how the people who built this ventilate the tunnel. But really right now I'm doing something police are advising women in this area to avoid at all costs, and that's walking down the street alone late at night. And I can tell you the father, Hector, was just so happy to hand his phone over to his son, Harley. Harley was the one on that bus, and he was sitting next to the emergency window of all places, and tells me he was the first one out. Brianna?
After weeks of emails,
Brianna with NBC7
and requests for an interview,
the charity says the money is gone.
NBC7 Investigates got a chance to ask Brianna King the one question the family she's impacted want answered.
Where's the money? Can you freeze? Where's the money?
This is the first time the ex-CEO and president of local childhood cancer charity Wish Warriors has appeared in court to answer to criminal charges linked to donation money her former board members say is, quote, gone, used by Brianna for her own personal desires.
We will enter a not guilty plea, deny the allegations.
In court, King pleaded not guilty to charges. She stole donation money meant for 13-year-old Casey Harvey and 12-year-old Maddie Taylor. Both girls are battling serious forms of childhood cancer.
Some people just, I don't have words to explain. It's just all emotion.
That's Maddie Taylor on July 10th, reacting to when her family first learned the money raised for them was reportedly squandered.
Do you have anything to say to the Harveys? Anything to say to the Taylor family?
Even people who've known King since she was a child say they're shocked.
I'm like horrified by it. I just am blown out of the water. I have to say, I never thought she would do anything like this.
To date, none of the cancer patients have received any money from this charity golf tournament.
The families affected by Wish Warriors say King's promise to help initially gave them hope and meaning. Two powerful things when you're fighting a battle this tough. They say if the allegations are true, she took far more from them than money. Service and sacrifice, two things Jacob Helmuth says his mother taught him.
My dad left when I was I want to say 9 or 10, so from that point on, she literally raised me all by herself.
At 20 years old, he left home for Camp Pendleton to serve his country as a U.S. Marine. On his first day off, he was thinking of family. He was thinking of his mom.
I wanted to do something nice for her, for once.
That's when he bought this, the Mother's Medal of Honor. A Romano's Jewelers sales associate sold the necklace and a watch to him for more than $2,300, a price that raised a red flag for his mother, so she called NBC7 Investigates. We had Helmuth send us details about the purchase and learned he signed up for a payment plan. He realizes now that was a big mistake.
They didn't show me the percentage rate.
His monthly statement shows an interest rate of 29.9%. It also shows a minimum payment that doesn't even cover the cost of the interest fee.
What did you leave the store with?
I left with 2 or 3 papers.
None of which he says were copies of his agreement. 19-year-old Navy sailor Antoine Graham says the same thing happened to him.
The only paperwork I got was what you're holding in your hand right there.
Based on the documents that I've seen, there are some very big omissions in what should be provided that just aren't there. And that's troubling.
Consumer protection attorney Tim Blood says disclosure laws require businesses providing credit to explain finance agreements clearly and conspicuously in writing in a form that the consumer may keep.
We weren't even financing them. We were just taking their money.
Oscar Castillo worked for Romano's for 2 years at the business's gas lamp and National City locations until he was laid off in June.
They are targeting military. They would only target the younger ones, the ones who are just fresh in, the Marines, the Navy.
Castillo, Graham, and Helmuth are far from the only ones speaking out. We received similar calls and emails from military members and their families from across the country.
Their goal is to make the sale by any means possible.
During the weeks of our investigation, our numerous requests for an interview with the business owner, Randy Abalcald, were declined. Instead, the company had us talk to George Merlis, Romano's Jewelers marketing manager.
Here at this location, I can assure you that I personally am involved in the training process to ensure that people understand everything from A to Z.
Merlis was unable to respond to specific concerns, like customers saying they did not receive copies of their agreements.
This is the first time I've heard about it.
Or customers saying sales associates did not clearly explain payment plans.
Again, it's the first time I've heard about it.
But later in the interview,
since it's come to our attention, we've had new policies and procedures set in place to ensure customer satisfaction.
So it sounds like you were made aware of some of these issues even before this interview. So what were some of the issues that prompted you to...
It came to my attention before this, this interview.
And what were some of those issues of the ones that we've been talking about?
Correct, everything that you've mentioned.
It certainly appears that they are not making the disclosures that they're required to make.
With the store's no return, no refund policy, Helmuth says he feels financially stuck.
I'm still being forced to pay this.
A piece of jewelry from a business he says stands for anything but service and sacrifice. Anything but what his mother taught him.
And she didn't deserve that. She deserves a lot better.
Right now, a former employee of Romano's Jewelers is behind bars. She was taken into custody hours ago after answering to charges involving identity theft targeting our local Marines. NBC7 Investigates reporter Candice has the latest on the story that our team's been following for months now.
That's right, Catherine. Nellie Nolan is one of 3 people charged in this case. The other 2 are a supervisor and the owner of Romano's Jewelers. Now today, just hours ago, as you mentioned, Nolan pleaded not guilty here in court, and then she was handcuffed.
Hearing, and we'll have a
It was an emotional moment for Nolan. NBC7 Investigates first told you about her co-defendants, Romano's Jewelers owner Randy Abancod and district manager Carlos Torres, last week when they were arraigned. They pleaded not guilty to the same 15 felony charges, which include identity theft and conspiracy. Romano's Jewelers has 4 locations in San Diego County, all in upscale malls. Prosecutors say in 2011, Nolan, Abancod, and Torres recruited and bribed Camp Pendleton Marine Corporal Kimani Tate. They gave him cash and jewelry. In return, Tate gave them confidential banking PIN numbers of other Marines. The business is accused of using that information to illegally transfer money from service member bank accounts to its own. Nolan's defense attorney says his client has cleaned up her act.
She hasn't had anything to do with any type of jewelry store, any type of financial institution. She's delivered mail and cleaned houses.
This was a jewelry store that was engaging in predatory practices against military members and taking advantage of their lack of sophistication about financial instruments.
Today, we're also hearing from that Marine insider, Corporal Kimani Tate. He wrote, "I just want to apologize to everyone involved in my chain of command. I paid my debt to the Corps and lost my dream career. I do, however, have remorse for Marines and sailors that got unknowingly involved." Tate was convicted in military court and was discharged on bad conduct. Now, this case is catching the attention of many high-level military officials here in San Diego. We are indeed a military town. As a result of our reporting, the Navy has sent out warnings to every sailor in the region. Romano's Jewelers is also officially off limits to Marines. Candice, NBC7 Investigates.